Hello everybody, my name is Steph Koza. I don't know why I sound like a car salesman right now. Hi, I'm Steph Koza and I'd like to sell you a car. Hello, today I am taking a break from my Marvel movie reviews. If you don't know, I have been reviewing every single Marvel movie in the MCU leading up to the Infinity War that comes out this week. I've just been rewatching all of them, trying to refresh my memory and refresh your memory and do a little recap and just review everything that I haven't reviewed because I didn't review all of them, so now I am. And it's driving me a little crazy, it's taken over my life a little bit, but for now, today, in this moment, we're gonna take a break from that, both for my own mental health and for you, because we need to talk about Super Troopers 2! Super Troopers 2 just came out. It is the sequel to Super Troopers 1, obviously. And I have been, like, silently looking forward to this movie for a very long time. It was announced a pretty long time ago, like, I completely forgot that they were even making it, and then it came out and I was like, oh yeah! That's a thing. So if you haven't seen Super Troopers 1, because for some reason, no one I know, like, has seen this movie, which blows my mind, because Super Troopers is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is just absolutely just comedic gold. It's hilarious. I love it so much. It's kind of stupid, but in, like, the best kind of way, you know? So if you haven't seen Super Troopers 1, I highly recommend seeing it right now. But basically, Super Troopers 2 takes place a little bit of time after the first one. And if you don't know the premise of Super Troopers, it's basically about a group of cops, like a team of cops, of police officers, who are all just kind of shitheads. They're just idiots. They don't really care. I mean, they do. They care about people, but they also don't give a shit about anything. And it's just really funny to watch these stupid cops interact and make fun of each other. It's kind of like a fraternity of dumbass cops, but better. That doesn't sound good, it's better. So basically, it is implied that these cops had, like, a ride-along incident where they were all fired. Like, they're not cops anymore because somebody died on the job, it was a big deal, and they all got fired and they all just kind of fell apart, their lives went to shit, they're all really miserable and unhappy now. So in this movie, the premise of this movie is a little bit ridiculous, but that's the way Super Troopers is. So basically, they learn that the border of Canada and America is wrong. Like, right now, it looks like this, but it really should look like this. So there's, like, this little hole of space right here that technically belongs to the United States, but is currently in Canada. So they need to temporarily bring in a US cop team. Are they called a team? A squad? A group of cops to take over this small town while they deal with the process of, like, converting it from Canada to America. So it's this really, really tiny town where nothing really happens. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's very, very Canadian, but it's turning into Vermont. And there's, like, a battle between the US cops and the Canadian cops, and it's like everybody hates them, nobody wants them to be there, and there's, like, a rivalry between them, and then there's, like, this big investigation going on, of course, because the cops have to have something to do. And that's pretty much the premise of this movie. It's not really important, the plot. It's really not. You don't watch these movies for the plot, you watch them for the stupidity. I will say, the first, like, 20 minutes of this movie, I was not feeling it. I was like, this is one of those sequels that should have just not been made. This is so dumb. Most of that had to do with the fact that the first, like, 10 minutes really threw me off. I had no idea what was happening. Turns out it's like a dream sequence kind of thing, but I really thought this was, like, what they decided to do for the plot of this movie, and I was like, really? You went this route? This is so dumb. I'm out. I'm done. But then it turned itself around and I was like, alright, okay, I'll stick around. But I just think the intro to this movie is completely unnecessary and should be cut off and to just start after that, because it was just stupid and unnecessary and I hated it. But after that, I really enjoyed watching this movie, like, thoroughly more than I thought I would, because I went into this thinking, like, this, as much as I love Super Troopers, it didn't really need a sequel. It had an ending. Don't really know where they're gonna go with it. It's kind of one of those sequels that feels like it was just made for money. But it was actually pretty good. Like, it wasn't as good as the first one by any stretch, and it wasn't, like, amazing, but it had some great moments. Like, I was crying laughing watching this movie, which is pretty much the whole point of this movie, is to be a comedy and nothing else. So it did that, so bravo. I laughed so much watching this movie. It is ridiculous. It probably crosses some lines, but like, it's not that bad. It's pretty funny. It's really hilarious. I think the writing isn't as witty as the first one. Like, the first movie is very like fast-paced comedy, like back and forth banter, really, really funny, making fun of each other. This movie is the same, but it's a little slower. It's a little more slapstick. Has some great lines, like definitely quotable. The first movie is incredibly quotable, so they had to make it quotable, which it is. And I really did enjoy it from beginning to end. I do feel like the ending kind of just abruptly happens. Like, that's kind of what happens in a movie like this. It's just like a big sketch and not really much happens except funny stuff. I think my favorite part of this movie was the blooper reel at the end. That made me laugh so hard. I was crying. But yeah, I mean, it was an average movie in itself. I think if you're a fan of Super Troopers, you should watch it just because it's funny and it's the same characters, and I don't know. I enjoyed it. I don't love it, I don't hate it, I just enjoyed it. Probably gonna give this movie like a 3.5 out of 5. Like, Super Troopers, I will watch over and over again forever. Super Troopers 2, I don't know if I would really go out of my way to rewatch it. If it's on TV, I'll probably watch it. I would tune in and I would watch the whole thing. But I don't know if I'm gonna buy it. I don't know if I'm gonna really want to watch it again. But it was fun, it was a good time, and that's all I gotta say. So, that's it for my review of Super Troopers 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Steph Koza, and I will see you in my next video, which should be another Marvel movie, as I drive myself further and further into madness. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!